Welcome back, horror friends, to High on Horror, your weekly haunt for chills, thrills, and maybe a little too much gore for polite company.
That's true.
I'm Drew.
And I'm John. This episode and every future episode is dedicated to all the horror hounds and stoners out there who want to expand their knowledge of the genre and have a good time.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Tonight, for our Halloween episode, we're digging up a true cult classic. Picture it. It's 1990. Horror is reinventing itself. Slasher is dead, that's right. And Barbara is no longer the damsel in distress. That's right, we're celebrating the 35th anniversary of Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead, the remake that flipped the script and gave us one of the strongest final girls in zombie history.
And the best part, we're not just talking about it, we're talking about it with Barbara herself, Patricia Tallman, who will be joining us. She's going to share behind-the-scenes stories, her perspective on reinventing an iconic role, and what it was like to survive the living dead.
So board up the windows, double-check the basement, and keep your trigger finger ready. Maybe load the bong up.
Yeah.
The dead are hungry, and we're celebrating 35 years of their return. Let's get into it today on High on Horror. Interviews, reviews, and the latest news all rolled into one.
Okay, creeps and canosaurs. Welcome to Strainwreck, the segment where we slash into the strains haunting our bowls and bongs. Because like Freddy, in your nightmares, this green always finds its way back.
Careful, or it'll haunt your stash jar, and trust me, that's scarier than any fucking ghost.
Yeah, don't fuck with the weed. Anyway, we're smoking some Huckleberry Haze, and I'll get into that. We're gonna smoke from a vape because, like, with zombies, you gotta be quiet. I mean, we're still gonna cough, but you know, you imagine you trying to like hide in a shed, and you're like, "Pass me the bong." They're just gonna hear outside. So you gotta stick to the vapes.
I like that. Interesting. Okay, so, but what about coughing?
Well, I was saying you probably still can cough, but like, let's limit noise. Like,
I got you. Okay, and you don't have the effect of the lighter either.
yeah,
so that makes
you don't
sense.
have that crack. You know, you don't have the the bubbling of the water. I mean, bowls would have been fine. I guess we could have did a bowl, but fuck it, we got a vape.
Vapes hit harder anyway. So,
although actually in a zombie apocalypse, would it be good? Because you're gonna need to charge it at some point. I mean, fuck it. If I find it, I'm using it.
Could you imagine in a zombie apocalypse how scarce weed would be and the shit people would be doing for it?
No, but could you imagine if you just learn how to grow it? You can. I mean, a zombie apocalypse, you could grow your own.
If we've ever learned is motherfuckers are gonna come up on your land and want that shit. You're gonna have some sort of
I'll
standoff
share.
At some point. Fuck that.
Until Negan shows up and he's like, "I want 75% of your weed. Shoot me."
Well, all right. Well, I guess this week, before I get into like a current event, I just wanted to say, that like it's Halloween, and we love this holiday. This is our favorite holiday,
of course.
And my wife and I, Sam, we're celebrating our 8th wedding anniversary, our 16th year together on Halloween.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks. And it's awesome, man. I love her to death. And so what's your Halloween plans? I mean, my plans for Halloween are I'm dressed up as the Fiend or the Crimson Ghost from the Misfits, and
You saying Fiend? I was thinking like WWE.
I'm gonna be doing like this haunted house thing at a friend's house, and I'm not actually gonna take my kids trick or treating this year. Someone else is doing that while I do this haunted house affair thing, and so honestly, it sucks because on Halloween, because we have kids, we never actually get to celebrate our anniversary. It's always either after Halloween or before Halloween. It's like we got married on Halloween because we love Halloween. And, so one of these days we'll actually get to celebrate our anniversary on the day. Till then, it's just Halloween shit and kid shit. But, I'm going as the Fiend, and my oldest son, Abel, is going as Halloween 2, Michael Myers with the blood eye, with
Every
the blood
kid
tears.
wants to be Halloween 2, Michael. I was Halloween 2, Michael, one time.
You gotta love it. The only thing that's funny is that his costume that we got from Spirit is the jumper has a fucking Michael Myers name tag on it. Like
I saw that in the picture.
Or something.
In the picture you sent, I was like, at first I was like, what does it say on there? And then as I clicked on it, started zooming, I was like, oh shit, it says Myers. It's hilarious.
and my youngest is Gavin. He's going to be Spider-Man, and honestly, he just became obsessed with Spider-Man. Like, I don't know where this came from. Like, we don't watch Spider-Man that often. He wanted a Spider-Man themed birthday party. We did that. Now we, Spider-Man face paint today and Spider-Man costume. So, yeah, my wife's being like Sam's being this like kind of like neon colored like witch. Pretty cool. She has this really cool like glow in the dark or black light robe she's gonna wear. What about you guys? What do you got planned with the family and kid?
Just taking them around trick or treating. I mean, obviously going to watch Halloween at some point. And actually, funny enough, is today Halloween for my 31 days of originals and remakes. Because there's an odd number for Halloween, I do double feature. I'm going to watch the original Night of the Living Dead, and then I'm going to watch this. I actually worked it once I knew we were going to make this our Halloween episode.
Sweet.
I was like, oh, yeah, I'll do that. That way we put out the episode, and I'll just watch it that night.
What a way to bring it back to memory. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what else we'll really be doing.
Are you dressing up? Is Nicole dressing up?
No, I'm not dressing up. I feel like probably started next year. I probably will because. Obviously the first year he was only like 2 months old at that point, so he had no idea. I still use it as an excuse because we're taking our niece around.
No, you just want his candy.
Yeah, I dressed him up as Gizmo first year, and then
I remember that.
What was he last year? Oh yeah, it was Sam from Halloween. Jesus, he was Sam for Halloween.
And you couldn't get him to keep the mask on. I remember that.
Yeah, he wasn't into the hood, but this year because he loves Monsters Inc. He's Sully.
Oh, cute.
And he's into it this year. It's funny though, like he loves watching spooky stuff, but we did a trunk or treat and this guy had like a skeleton holding the bowl. I'll have to show you the video. He starts walking up, sees it, he doesn't like get upset, he just walks right away and just keeps walking and just kept going. He's like, nope.
No thank you.
And the funny thing is, like, you think about when you were a kid and you were scared of stuff, you would hide and you cover your head. Dude, he cracks me up. He wants to keep eyesight. He wants to know where it is at all times. Like Spirit Halloween, the animatronics scared him, but anytime we were in eyesight of them, you would watch him and his eyes would stay fixed.
So he's the opposite. Yeah.
He's still scared, but rather than like cover his eyes or whatever, he's like, no, I want to know where you're at all times. I was like, actually, that's kind of smart.
Yeah, he's got a strong personality. He does. He's a cool little guy.
You know how it is. They have strong personalities, but. Yeah, so I think next year I'm probably gonna have to start dressing up, and soon I won't get to keep picking out the outfits. Eventually, he's gonna have an opinion of his own.
Do you have any idea what you're gonna be? Do you have any
Nah.
No, I don't know. I feel like next year I'm probably gonna try to do Eddie from Iron Maiden because I did the Fiend this year, so we'll see.
You should be from Ghost. What's it, Papa?
Papa Emeritus or Tobias Forge. Yeah. That would be cool, actually. That's a fucking good idea. Damn, I didn't even think of that.
I don't know if I ever told you I've seen Ghost in concert.
So I saw them back before they were popular. I saw them at this Rock on the Range thing back in their first 2 albums. It was pretty good.
They were the opening acts, but they were already popular because it was for Iron Maiden.
Did he have like the tall Pope hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the skull face paint. Yep, that's how I saw him.
And it's funny because the person I went with, I usually go to like Grateful Dead type stuff with them, and we were going to see Maiden. And it was funny because like I don't know how he got the tickets, but I didn't pay for them, so I don't know. But we were down on the floor, which man, I don't think I could do that at 40, man, standing for the whole concert.
I know.
It was rough then, but dude, so Ghost is playing. He just looks at me, goes, "This ain't the Dead." I said, "No, this is much different than the Dead." But he was like, he goes, "I guess because he goes, you like it?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like I'd heard of Ghost, but I never heard him. I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "It's pretty good." He was like, "I guess we're Satanists now." I was like, I think that's how that works.
I think that's how that works.
No, but yeah, like no, I saw them. Year Zero was like the song. I
that
remember.
Song. Yeah, it's a good fucking song.
Yeah. I forget, like, usually I haven't went to concert in forever, but what I used to do was make like playlist of when I went to the concert. I would make a playlist of the songs they played in that order.
Oh shit, okay.
Like I mean,
I
they
definitely
weren't live,
bought their albums and shit and looked them up after, like bands in general.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I never like.
But the person I go with finds them out before, and he's like, "Oh, here's a playlist." He'll just send me a Spotify link. Like, here's the playlist of what they're playing. I was like, I don't know. Part of me doesn't want I want to know the playlist, but I don't want to know the playlist.
Right, you want to be surprised every song, yeah.
But I have But then the problem is I have expectations. And if they don't play it, I'm kind of like, damn.
Right.
Damn, we just talked a bunch about it. So,
Yeah.
Are you doing anything else for Halloween, or is that it?
No, that's it. Oh, well, after we're done trick-or-treating and doing haunted houses and all that shit, I plan to take my costume off, smoke, and watch Halloween before bed.
Yeah.
That's my plan.
That
The original,
sounds good.
I mean.
Yeah, usually, see, I don't ever want to, I think, man, I was going to say I don't want to mention people's names because, I don't know if they want to be associated with us, but I'm like, I say Kenny's name all the time. But I was just gonna say, yeah, usually my tradition is I I watch Halloween with my friend after we go trick or treating, but they moved, so we did that. But right before they moved, we're like, let's watch Halloween since we can't do it this year. But
You're still gonna watch it.
I made the joke with Nicole. I was like, I guess I'll watch Halloween with my wife. But oh geez, I just punched the shit out of this mic.
Did you?
Yeah, dude, I just full on like.
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, Josh, I guarantee he's gonna tell me he heard something. But yeah, I think, and the sad part is this year my kid is in the Reese's, so my nephew.
Oh no.
My nephew doesn't like Reese's, so me and my sister would take his. But yeah, so yeah, he's in the Reese's, so I'm gonna have to share some.
No, you don't share. Just let him keep the little like gold and black and green and like the little cups, and you keep any full size cups you take, Daddy. That's all you.
Oh, dude, do you like dots? Most people do.
No, I don't fucking like dots.
I like dots. Dots have to be at the right, like if they're like fresh, like if they sit.
Oh God,
they
here he goes about being this like carnivore of fucking dots.
But anyway, at the trunk or treat, he got a box of those today.
Okay.
So Nicole's like, I don't want him eating those gummy candies. Like, I was like, okay. I was like, I like dots. So, dude, I ate them, but I forgot to throw the box away. He woke up from his nap. It cracked me up. He picked up the box, looked inside, and then just turned and looked at me like he knew I was the one who took them.
He turned. Did he cry or anything?
No, he just like turned, and you could tell he's looking at me like, I know you ate those.
He like held the box up and looked into
Yeah,
it.
and they're the little square dots. Like, yeah, he picked it up. He like looked at it, and then he just turned and like looked at me.
Like, yo, motherfucker. Oh shit. All right, we're moving on here. Good news here for like-minded folk like us here on High on Horror. THR just dropped some killer news that the master of horror himself, John Carpenter, is officially coming back to TV. He's executive producing and lending his name to a new horror anthology called John Carpenter Presents. The show's coming from Elevation Pictures up in Canada with Michael Ammo, who did The Listener, and Will Pascoe from Orphan Black serving as showrunners. The first season is set in the frozen wilderness of Alaska, and it's going to dive into the fears and social anxieties of our time. Basically a mix of supernatural horror and existential dread. There we go. So yeah, it sounds very Carpenter, and they're even promising to capture his signature look and sound, that grimy visual vibe and those pulsing synths that we all love, Christina Povisian, I'm sorry, I'm butchering this. Povisian, there we go, from Elevation, said that they couldn't be more excited to bring Carpenter's creative energy into the TV world. And honestly, same. Carpenter's producing alongside his longtime partner Sandy King Carpenter through Storm King Productions. So the OG horror DNA is definitely there. And if you're in LA, he's doing a run of live concerts at the Belasco on October 24th, 25th, and of course on Halloween and November 1st. So you can literally go see the horror legend himself before his new show drops.
Yeah, and it's funny because we just got into our first current events, and I was looking at our recording. We're already 12 minutes in. But
we love Halloween, man. Don't get us started talking. It's already happening.
I don't ever want to speak ill of our patron saint, John Carpenter, but I'll reserve reservations because he did that John Carpenter Presents, and they did that true crime show, and I was excited to see it. Yeah. And then when it came out, I hadn't watched it yet, and I just saw these reviews that were like, he has nothing to do with this.
No, he didn't. It was disappointing. It depends.
I'll reserve. I mean, I'm not faulting him. Take your money. I was excited, but I thought he was more involved than what it was, so we'll see about this, but
I'm still going to give it a chance. I'm definitely going to watch it.
Please come on and talk to us about it.
It's been a long time since we've had something very Carpenter-esque hit, and I really hope that something does, because that's what we need right now. That's what the world would love right now, especially horror fans.
Dude, and also, could you imagine on Halloween going to
see John Carpenter? Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
I feel like we would have to take each other in here.
We're going to go on a date together.
We're going to go on a date because neither one of our wives, you'd be like, we could go on Halloween.
Especially my wife. She'd be, that's our anniversary. I'm going to see John Carpenter.
Well,
babe, it's John Carpenter.
That's the reason I couldn't have a Halloween anniversary, is because she was like, the kids were taking them out. I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want. Yeah. I got her to settle on a Friday the 13th, so it worked out. But Yeah, like I could see her still just be like, "No, I'm still taking the kids out. We're not going to see John Carpenter." Be like, "Come on!" Like,
Exactly.
it's Halloween, and I can see John Carpenter in concert.
Why you won't be stepping
you know
on my
he's
dick?
going to play Halloween. You know he's going to do it. Yo, you imagine that'd be the ultimate heel move.
And then to go home afterwards and be like, "Can we watch Halloween now?"
But like the ultimate heel move. What if John Carpenter at this concert today? Well, it would be today when you're listening to this. If you're listening the day it came out, what if he like did the concert but didn't play the Halloween theme? Played everything but the Halloween theme. Like the ultimate heel move. He just does a Halloween concert. The man who made the movie Halloween created the score and just like, nah, I'm not going to play it today.
That would be bullshit. And then you would just put it on in your car as soon as you got in the car and just piss your wife off again. So
and you know, our wives would be like, "Oh, so are you mad now that your guy didn't play Halloween?" Be like, "Yeah, but I still like him."
Yeah, I'm still gonna play the song though.
I feel like it's probably true for you. It's like the thing for Carpenter is, yeah, it's the great movies, but I love that man's attitude.
Me too. He just has a
where he just does not care.
He does not give a fuck, dude.
See, that's the beautiful. Like, I want that fuck you money that I can just go, I'm just gonna smoke weed and play video games.
Well, the thing that people liked about Carpenter's movies, and the reason that movies like Carpenter's movies have lost their way, is because it's like art is. It's subjective, and the thing is, everybody, like, you look at like the Marvel Studios now, especially Marvel, when these people make movies, they fucking have so many rewrites and so many different things that they change before the movie actually comes out, because their whole goal is to be people pleasers. Like, let's make sure everybody leaves this theater happy and skipping and talking about the movie for a week, and let's make sure it's a feel-good movie that has a sad moment and then everybody's uplifted at the end, and it's a people pleaser movie. And back in the day, they didn't give a shit about that. People were making movies that they would want to see. John Carpenter didn't make They Live or Prince of Darkness because he thought it was going to be fucking great to the masses. He made that movie because he thought that's going to be a good fucking movie. That's what we're missing. We need that attitude. Like the people pleasing attitude has to stop. That's why there's so much shit out there. Stop worrying about if people like your movie or not, and just fucking make your movie. Like, he didn't give a fuck. That's the attitude to have. And also his attitude. Somebody was like, "I want to start writing movies. What would you suggest? How do you suggest I start?" He goes, "Pick up a pen and a paper, start writing." That was his advice. Just pick up a pen and paper, start writing. His attitude is just unparalleled.
Dude, I was going to say, we're going long, but fuck it, it's Halloween. It could be. I had to stop myself. What I was going to say was, it's Halloween, we could go extra long.
I was prepared with that's what she said.
I figured.
That,
anyway, now Halloween 5's playing now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, dude, I still love his story about David Cronenberg. That shit gets me every time. Where he talks about the Masters of Horror, and he's like, "I see my friend, I go up," and he just kind of blows me off, and I go, "Fuck this, I'm going to go home."
Yep. Yeah, he doesn't care.
And, yeah, you know what's funny is Prince of Darkness. I'd first ever heard of it from my sister, because I remember she's like, "That movie scares the shit out of me." Mm-hmm. And you see it's like now being rediscovered on X. Like, there's all these people posted like, "Oh, you know what a really good movie to watch in October is Prince of Darkness." Like, yeah, we've been saying this for goddamn years.
Right.
I think it's arguably Carpenter's scariest movie.
I think it is. I think I've said that before. I do think it's the scariest movie.
And it's funny because everybody points to the same thing, and it's the archway scene with like the angel
shadow,
demon.
Yeah, and the dark figure with the cloak on.
And I saw I think it was like a Gen Z person reviewing it, and they were like, "I watched it and I didn't think it was that scary." And then later that night I'm in the bathroom, using the bathroom, and I just kind of look in the mirror and I start thinking about the scenes of like stuff, and then they're like, I started getting legitimately creeped out then.
But leave it to Carpenter for you to go, "Yeah, this is a demonic possession movie about the devil. And he's just like a green liquid in a fucking glass tube in a church, and like you're going, huh? How's the devil a liquid, and
dude,
watch and see. It's fucking awesome.
And it's one of the Carpenter movies that you have to watch a bunch of times.
Could you imagine the backlash that he would get on that nowadays? Why would the devil can't be a liquid in a jar? No, he's gotta have a beard. He's gotta have a funny line, and he's gotta be cast by someone handsome who's been in something popular lately. He didn't give a fuck, dude, and the movie worked.
And just wrap up because we could keep talking about this movie. The two things, dude, Victor Wong is so good in that movie.
I know.
Just like his speech in the beginning where he's like talking about the, the natural and the supernatural.
Yeah.
Dude, and the other scene that just like is so creepy is the Amazing Grace.
I know it.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that scene, man.
And I just think it's so funny that people said that John Carpenter's love letter to, Kung Fu flicks, Big Trouble in Little China was really like a racist thing. They were saying he was like racist for it and gave him like racial backlash for it, which it wasn't a thing. So that he later had the Amazing Grace scene put into Prince of Darkness to say fuck you to people, like he doesn't give a shit.
I did not know that, actually.
Yeah. All right, well, before we get on, take us out of here, man.
All right, Huckleberry Haze is a hybrid. It's listed as roughly 50s, pretty much dead even 50 sativa, 50 indica. And again, we're getting all this information from Allbud. THC content is 15 to 24%. The effects are euphoria, focus, happy, relaxing. Flavors and aromas of berry, blueberries. I don't know why they would list that twice. I mean,
Berries and blueberries? Or
yeah, I mean, specifically blueberries and just berry. Spicy, sweet, also earthy. Sounds like whoever did this just gave all the flavors. May relieve ADD, ADHD, anxiety, arthritis, chronic pain, depression, fatigue, insomnia, loss of appetite, migraines, PMS, PTSD. Apparently,
wow,
I think it also solved world hunger. And getting into why it pairs with today's movie. We're lighting up Huckleberry Haze. Well, I guess we're not lighting it up. We're vaping it up. To go with Tom Savini's 1990 remake of Night of the Living Dead. This strain is a hybrid that hits with a sweet, fruity berry flavor and smooth, euphoric head high. And it's the perfect strain for this movie because just like Barber in his version, it starts off mellow and easygoing, then subtly hits you with that rush of energy when the chaos kicks in. The uplifting haze keeps you alert through the zombie madness, but the berry sweetness takes the edge off for all that doom and dread. You've got that bright, buzzy focus that makes every shot pop, the farmhouse, the flames, the Walking Dead closing in, while still letting you sink into that early 90s practical effects grit that Savini nailed. Huckleberry Haze is the kind of strain that keeps you thinking, they're coming to get you, Barbara. And you'll actually enjoy waiting for him to show up if they're bringing some Huckleberry Haze.
What a twist.
What a twist. The zombie. Man, imagine you could teach zombies to farm your weed. That'd be awesome.
He's like, get the fuck away from me. And he's like,
fire. Now I'm going Frankenstein.
Wait, what's in his hand? What's he trying to pass me? Oh, what? You got another? What's that?
Damn, alright, you can stay here. Just don't leave me, dog.
Just sit on the porch. You can't come in the house.
Yeah, alright. So I think on that note, it's time to get into Puff Puff Ask.
Yo, man. Puff Puff Pass.
Welcome to our fan mail corner, Puff Puff Ask, where we'll spark it up, dive into your questions, and spread some spooky love with our listeners. Graveyard Shift 92, his name's Tyler. He asked us this like several months ago, and we never got to it. And I was like, oh my God, there was a Night of the Living Dead question. Let me get to this. So I went and I found it. If you two, meaning John, you and myself, found ourselves stuck in a farmhouse on the Night of the Living Dead, who would crack first? And who would make it to the end credits?
I mean, never mind. I was about to jump in. I'll let you answer.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I ain't making it. I already knew that. I've made jokes that if we were in a zombie apocalypse and my other friend tried to, insult me, it was like, this is who you would be in Walking Dead. And I'm like, nah, yeah, that is who I'd be. Would be Eugene from Walking Dead. I was like, I'd just be lying. I said, I'll just be lying and hope I never have to prove I'm a doctor. You're like a scientist. Yeah, I mean, that'd be me. I just keep lying. Be like, I'm very important.
Look, the truth is, I'd like to think I'd make it.
I don't think I would crack. I would just accept my fate.
Yeah, I would like to think that I would make it, and I don't think I would crack either. But I think that I don't necessarily think I'd make it to the end. And I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal here, but you know how I am with women and children. So it all depends on who's there. But Night of the Living Dead, I'm definitely making sure those women get to safety, and I'm making sure that everybody else does too. And I'm going to do the stoic thing. So if I make it to the end, I do. If not, I'm going to go out knowing I did what I could to help people, the right people.
I'm saving Ben this time.
The right people. But yeah, I don't know if I'd make it to the end. But in regards to between you and I, who would crack first? That's tough. I don't want to insult you. You know, I don't want to say that I think John would crack
No,
first.
I
I
would
don't
not
really.
fare well.
I don't really like. I wouldn't think either one of us would crack. I think we'd probably meet our ends in
like-
two different ways. You would try to be like sneaky and hiding out, and some bullshit would happen. You'd get bit trying to rip your bong or something in the woods, and I'd end up fucking getting bit for trying to fucking help somebody out a window or something. You know, it is what it is. I don't think I'd make it out either, but I do think I'd enjoy being a zombie.
Oh,
So I'd check it
trip
out.
and fall and probably get caught.
I would go after everybody I fought. If I could think, I guess I'm not going to if I'm a zombie, but if I could, I'd go after every motherfucker I didn't like and just eat their fucking
But I don't
brains
think
out.
I don't think you can. You don't really have the choice.
That's
that
what I
you're
said.
doing.
Yeah, I doubt it. You're just, you see and smell people, and that's all you want. You're not specific, but
See, I would like to think that somehow I'd remember my Boy Scout skills from like 20 years ago. Somehow they would kick in the survival skills I learned from that. But I guarantee you,
you
I
turn
don't
into
remember.
fucking Rambo in the middle
I
of the woods.
guarantee you, I don't remember shit from those. And like the other joke I always make in the movie, This Is the End.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm Seth Rogen when they pull the matches and
You always, he pulls the short one, and
and
he's like,
"No-
"No, I'm not going."
The burnt match, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, not going. They're like, so you were just going to do that even though you weren't going to go? Yeah, I was just going to hope somebody else
You've always
goes.
said that. I remember watching that. You were
I was
like,
like,
"That's
yeah,
me."
that'd be me. You'd all be so mad, be like, no, I'm not going.
Everybody would hate you, but this dude isn't fucking helping at all.
Yeah, so I would not make it. I always say like the same thing in slasher movies. I was like, I don't even think I'd run. That's like, because I just know in the end I'm gonna get got.
Again, I think like in this scenario,
I'm gonna get got. So
I think the best, honestly, what I think I would do in these scenarios, I think I've said this before, is I would literally go to the barn and I would climb up to that high, whatever the fuck you call that second row, like the second story with all the hay and shit. I would get up there with whoever I wanted to keep up in my circle, and I'd pull that ladder up with me, and I would stay as quiet as I could and hope that those motherfuckers couldn't climb walls. 'Cause,
until you ripping. You just
ripping
smoking a
ass or
blunt.
ripping the bong.
Yeah, both.
That'd be a bitch. Imagine bringing on your doom because you. That would be some shit I do. Drew was safe until he fucking let out one of his Godzilla farts or burps, and there it is. It's over. The fucking zombies
but
heard
you
him a mile
imagine
away.
like you trying to check on stuff, and you rip the bong and then you just drop it. You just drop it off the top layer.
Are you going to be more worried about the bong breaking, or are you going no?
Be like, I think I can get it. Look, if it didn't break, I convinced myself I could get it and get back up.
Fuck that, dude. I'm doing some Sandlot shit. I'm making some sort
Be
of
like, I'd rather be dead.
I'm making some fucking like robotic wire hanger shit that I can reach down and grab it with.
I don't
like
know how
get
you're
the
bringing
ball.
it back up. But
I don't know either, man.
I'm
I
trying to
don't
see.
know.
I'm trying to see what I got up there. I can make like something to smoke out of. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, we've smoked out of apples.
Just give me
before,
like
you
2
know?
sticks and some string. I'll figure it out.
All right, Rambo. Like I said.
Anyway, speaking of questions we never got to, Dale, I think like 2 years ago asked us a question, and I don't think I ever got to it, but is Godzilla -1 the best Godzilla movie? Yes. Just because I actually cared about the humans in a Godzilla movie.
Right.
Most Godzilla movies, I'm like, stop. Just you know the meme from Mandalorian. Bring me the baby.
Yeah.
Show me Godzilla. That's all I'm here for.
I hear that.
But that one actually made me care about the humans. Like, I was like, damn, this is actually like a really good story about the people.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree. I think
I feel like you're gonna say Shin Godzilla is better, aren't you?
no.
No?
No, not at all. No.
-1?
Is my Godzilla -1 the best Godzilla movie? For me, yeah, hands down. And bias and personal favoritism aside, only the 1954 original film and Shin Godzilla really stand next to it. -1 isn't just another sequel or a cash grab. That's what's unique about it, is that it never came off as another sequel or a cash grab. It has a real reason to exist. It's a true reinvention of the character. And Godzilla isn't the biggest or strongest he'd ever been in this film, but he's exactly what he needed to be for the story Takashi Yamazaki wanted to tell. It's brilliant, man. The movie stands on its own as incredible cinema, but it also pays homage to the franchise's past, especially the Heisei era, and visually, Godzilla has never looked better. What makes -1 terrifying is that for the first time, Godzilla is hunting people. He's not just a force of nature stomping through cities. He's actively destroying everything in his path. He is rage incarnate, the wrath of mankind's own sins coming back to haunt us. It's karmic, it's devastating, and it is fucking pure Toho. And that's the key. Japan just does Godzilla better. This is Godzilla at his best, handled by the people who created him in the first place. It's going to be a long, long time, in my opinion, and before we see another entry on this level. Shit, it took 70 years for this to happen. You know, even though they're doing a -1 sequel, looking forward to it. Do I think it's going to capture this magic in a bottle? No, or lightning in a bottle? No, I don't. Like, there was something about this movie that really was just like, holy shit. And, you know, don't just take my word for it. Look at who's praising the movie. Tom Cruise, Spielberg, Nolan. I mean, that's how powerful -1 is. It's true cinema. It's the kind of movie that blindsides you, smacks you in the face, and reminds you what movies are supposed to be. And it's funny I say that because I remember when you walked out of the fucking theater, you were like, I was not prepared for that. That was the first thing you said. Like I said,
I don't even remember
in the face.
saying that. That's
you said
funny.
I was not prepared. I was expecting Godzilla to like stomp around and like have like a monster fight maybe, and you're like, instead I'm fucking caring about these characters and shit. Like
that surprised me. Like you really care for them. Like, I was really invested in that.
I remember, you know, my buddy Alex, who I work with, he said the same thing. He couldn't see it with me when I saw it, so he saw it on his own, and he messaged me. He was like, dude, he's like, I almost teared up at the end, like when like the dude survives, you know, and like his friend told him like live, and it shows you how he helped him with the auto eject or whatever, autopilot.
Yeah.
He was like,
pulled
dude,
some
he's
Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, he was like, you know, he's just like he said he's like, dude, I felt that. I'm like, dude, even people who like don't really watch Godzilla movies are like watching this, going, oh my god, you know, like, and it's magic. It really is.
And you know, the people in the boat, you know, the scientists, and like everybody.
And what I love about the creature itself, though, is while he's terrifying. And, you know, like I said, openly destroying everything, there's also this, like, thrill, this, like, kid in you that loves seeing it. Like, even though he's doing it, you're not like, oh, my God, no, Godzilla. You're kind of like, fuck yeah, do your shit. But then you're like, oh, no, I like this guy.
It's like Titanic.
I like this guy. Oh,
the
no.
ship's breaking.
Exactly. That's a fucked up way of putting it, but yeah.
But Tommy Cruise out here praising it. What? I didn't even know he'd watch it.
Yeah, he actually requested a special, like, private screening of the movie and fucking praised it and was, like, tweeting the director and everything.
I mean, yeah probably if
somebody's
like, hey, Tom Cruise wants to privately screen your movie, you're like, yeah, okay.
Like, don't say less.
Yeah, hopefully he likes it.
Just, you know.
You're just crossing your fingers like, please like it.
And Will Ferrell's, you know, words from Talladega Nights, though, just, you know, keep your Scientology magic away, you know. But anyway, all right, buckle up, friends. It's time to crank the coffin engine, not what John thought I was going to say, and cruise through the shadowy side streets of horror history.
This week in horror history.
All right, welcome to Horror Hiss.
Maybe snort.
Snort. The segment where we unearth the birthdays and film anniversaries behind the films and fiends that make the genre legendary. And starting here on Halloween, for birthdays, 98 years ago, 1927, Lee Grant.
Okay.
89 years ago, Michael Landon in 1936. Sally Kirkland, 1944, was 81 years ago. Brian Doyle Murray, Bill Murray's brother, 1945, 80 years ago. Born 64 years ago, Peter Jackson, 1961. And 62 years ago, Dermot Mulroney in 1963. You saw the movie The Campaign?
Yeah.
Do you remember when they were like, there was some play on that name? I can't remember.
That's been so long.
It was in the credits with the guy. It was like cheating. I forget. I wish I could remember. They gave him some like it was like some like variation of Dermot Mulroney's name, but he was using it as an alias. I wish I could remember. I'll have to after this. I'll have to look it up. Notable horror films released on Halloween 89 years ago: The Case of the Black Cat, 1936. The Vampire and the Ballerina, 1962, 63 years ago. Also 63 years ago, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Fucking amazing movie. My God.
51 years ago, one of your favorites, Phantom of the Paradise.
Yes, my movie. My boy Beef.
My boy Beef. Another cinematic masterpiece, 23 years ago in 2002, Elvira's Haunted Hills. 19 years ago, Evil Bong. You would think of that more of a 420 movie than necessarily a Halloween movie. 16 years ago in 2009, Hell House. And a movie I feel like it got a lot of praise when it was first came out, and I feel like people don't talk about it anymore. And it's funny, my nephew, who's just turning 18, he saw it for the first time. It was like, that was a really good movie. Celebrated 11 years from 2014, Nightcrawler.
Yeah, I like that. Jake Gyllenhaal, he's good, man. I like that movie.
It's weird. Like that movie got so much praise when it came out, and now like you don't even ever hear people talk about it anymore. Now moving on to November. Born 144 years ago in 1881, Edward Van Sloan. Betsy Palmer, 96 years ago in 1929.
Jason's mama.
Yeah, and speaking of another mama, this one from a terrible remake. Toni Collette, 1972, turns 53. And also Jenny McCarthy turns 53 as well. Yeah, I did not remember. I don't even know if I ever saw the Fright Night remake.
Yeah, I saw it, yeah.
No, I'm saying I don't remember if I had before, but it was on my list this year. And God, it's bad.
It's not as bad as it could have been, but it's not Fright Night.
If you watch it after watching the original Fright Night and then like watch it the next day, it's bad. I didn't like
McLovin as Evil Ed. I didn't
was
care
terrible.
for that. Yeah, he was terrible. And he was just McLovin.
And it's funny when I saw it because that's why I think I haven't seen it. And I was like, man, this is like a decent cast. Like
you'd think, yeah.
And I like Colin Farrell.
Me too.
And I was just like, man, he is not good as Jerry.
He was too good looking. That's the Chris Sarandon was believable as like the vampire that's charming, and everybody wants to fuck Colin Farrell. He's not a vampire.
Everybody wants to fuck him.
He doesn't need to be a vampire. He doesn't need fucking abilities or special hypnotizing powers. Like he's just fucking Colin Farrell. Like it's not really fair.
He's Colin Farrell. It's not fair. And celebrating 50 years, guest on the show, Lucky McKee. I don't know if he's happy that we might be sharing it. Notable horror films released: A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, 40 years ago.
Damn.
And then 1991, The People Under the Stairs, 34 years ago. That's another one. It's funny, like Nightcrawler. I remember that movie talked about a lot when I was a kid, and I feel like it's got
more of a cult following now.
Yeah, like we're talking about like Prince of Darkness. I feel like it's getting discovered again.
Yeah.
23 years ago, 28 days later, 2002. November 2nd. Didn't really have any births for that one. So horror films that were released: Jacob's Ladder turns 35, released in 1990. The Bone Collector turns 26, released in 1999. And 24 years ago, 2001, Citizen Toxie, The Toxic Avenger 4. That's one of your favorites, right?
Citizen Toxie. I love The Toxic Avenger, but not so much the sequels.
November 3rd, born 104 years ago in 1921, Charles Bronson.
The man himself.
And Tom Savini celebrates his 79th birthday, born 1946.
Coincidentally, on our episode about him.
Dude, how many times does this seem to happen that we do like a horror history and like maybe it's not the movie we're talking about, but there'll be like a movie and then somebody from that movie has like a birth or a death in that same week period.
Or every movie in the fucking series is mentioned, like Saw in our last episode.
Well, yeah, but I mean that kind of makes sense because they were trying to make it a Halloween movie every year. But like it's weird, and then like I don't know. It's happened so many times that I've just noticed. I feel like it's part of the simulation. I'm cracking part of the simulation.
Cracking the matrix.
Yeah, it just makes it easier for memory just to store it all together. Did I even mention Gemma Ward's birthday? If not, I'll say
no,
it
you
again.
did not. No.
38 years ago, 1987. And films released: Gojira, 1954, 71 years ago.
There we go.
Carrie, the original, turns 49, 1976. Also, another remake that was on my list this year. Way worse than I remember.
Well, Carrie? Yeah, Carrie sucked. The remake was terrible.
So, my argument to Nicole was that Selena Gomez is too attractive to be Carrie.
You mean Chloe, whatever her name is?
Or, yeah, what did I say?
I forget what you said, but it wasn't the Chloe chick.
Damn, yeah.
But yeah,
Selena Gomez, I think I said, didn't I?
No,
Chloe Grace Martinez.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
I was like, I thought she's too attractive to be Carrie.
She needed to be homely and skinny and shit, yeah.
And Nicole's like, well, Sissy Spacek was attractive. And I was like, no, that was well, I mean, I'm not saying she was ugly, but I was like, she wasn't like one of the good-looking girls at school. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
It was like she was being bullied and an outcast,
Yep.
and then she has to deal with her mother. But I was like, I feel like Carrie's not supposed to be like, oh, she could have legitimately been homecoming queen.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being sexist. Who knows? Anyway, and another good one. Also, same year, Bloodsucking Freaks. Which one do you think was better?
Fucking Carrie.
Not just Carrie. Fucking Carrie. November 4th, Ken Kirzinger turned 66, born 1959. Matthew McConaughey from... It's terrible, but one of my favorite Texas Chainsaw movies. He's just so ridiculous in that movie.
I hate that movie.
56 years ago, born 1969. And Travis Van Winkle, 1982, 43. And notable movies, we have They Live, turns 37, 1988. Phantom of the Opera from 89, turns 36. 1994's Frankenstein turns 31. This personal favorite of Drew's, I Spit on Your Corpse, I Piss on Your Grave, turns 24.
Because I Spit on Your Grave wasn't enough.
Yeah, you gotta piss on the grave.
It has no tie to the I Spit on Your Grave
No, I'm
series, by
sorry.
the way.
It's I Spit on Your Corpse, I Piss on Your Grave.
Yeah. Which, but like I said, yeah, it has no tie to the I Spit on Your Grave movie.
They save the spit for the body, but the piss for the grave.
It's just terrible.
And then another good one, 17 years ago, Return to Sleepaway Camp.
A good one. I thought that was like one of the worst sequels ever. Okay, good. No, that movie fucking sucked. What a disappointment that was.
Sucked.
Yeah, what a fucking disappointment that was.
Yeah.
All right, well, I guess, we'll move on. The zombies
Move
are
on with that.
nastier, the screams are louder, and Barbara's finally fighting back. Let's dig into our review of Night of the Living Dead 1990. In 1968, one of the greatest landmarks in horror cinema lurched onto the screen, Night of the Living Dead.
Lurched is a
Directed
good
by
word.
New York native George A. Romero, the film was made by his scrappy production company Image 10, a group of friends including screenwriter John Russo, who all chipped in about $10,000 each. The movie cost just $114,000 to make and went on to gross over $30 million worldwide. Not bad for a black and white indie with more guts than cash. Originally, the film was called Night of the Flesh Eaters, but when they discovered another movie had beaten them to the title, they switched it to Night of the Living Dead. The only problem? The production company forgot to copyright the new title on the posters, so the movie immediately fell into public domain, which meant while the film became a genre-defining classic, the actual filmmakers barely saw a dime of that money. For Romero and company, the 1990 remake wasn't just about updating the story, it was finally a chance to make some money off of the movie that made them legends. Now, fun fact, Tom Savini was originally supposed to work on the 1968 version, but he got drafted to Vietnam, where he served as a combat photographer. That experience shaped his career. He said the gruesome realities he witnessed gave him a unique eye for creating realistic gore. Then he came home, he dove into making makeup effects, started with Martin in 1977, then redefining horror with his work on Dawn of the Dead, Friday the 13th, Maniac, Day of the Dead, Creepshow, and about 100 others. The man didn't just do gore, he elevated it, earning his reputation as the maestro of splatter. Between 1968 and 1990, zombies fully took over pop culture. After Dawn of the Dead came, the Lucio Fulci era with Zombie and City of the Living Dead, Romero himself tossed in the crazies. The 80s brought us campier but still blood-soaked fare like Reanimator and Return of the Living Dead. By then, zombie movies were everywhere. So why remake Night of the Living Dead just 22 years after the original? Because George Romero himself asked Tom Savini to direct it, that's why. This was Savini's chance to finally be part of the movie he'd missed out on, and his chance to make his directorial debut. And what we got in 1990 was a version that stayed true to the original while still updating it, proving zombie films could still be scary, gutsy, and not just shuffling punchlines. The remake was shot in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and distributed by Columbia Pictures, and stars Patricia Tallman, our guest here today, who played Barbara, and a pre-Candyman Tony Todd, who played the fan favorite Ben. This film went on to gross $5.8 million on a $4.2 million budget. Critics weren't exactly kind. Entertainment Weekly compared it to New Coke. And Roger Ebert basically said, quote, "Why bother when the original exists," end quote. But in many ways, the closeness to the original is exactly its strength. And most of the fans of the genre know to this day, it's one of the greatest remakes in horror history.
And for Tom Savini, taken from a 2004 interview with Gary Schultz, directing the film was both a dream and a nightmare. He arrived on set armed with 800 storyboards, a detailed vision, and deep respect for Romero's original, and almost immediately ran into obstacles. Producers limited his creative freedom. His MPAA restrictions forced additional cuts, leaving only about 40% of his planned content in the final film. Despite the hurdles, Savini pushed to update the story in meaningful ways. He strengthened Barbara's character, given her agency the original lacked, and highlighted the moral corruption of humans as much as the horror of the zombies. Every zombie was crafted with practical makeup effects. If you know Savini's work, we're not getting CGI here. It was exactly it was executed by a 40-person crew, reflecting Savini's legendary effects expertise. And he even appears on screen as the sheriff on the television, tying his signature touch into the story itself. On a sunny summer afternoon in rural Pennsylvania, siblings Barbara and Johnny visit their mother's grave. In both versions, the outing goes horribly wrong, but in the 1990 remake, everything ramps up Barbara's fear and agency immediately. Johnny's killed by a lone zombie, setting the tone, and Barbara flees to a farmhouse where she meets Ben, who arrives from Evans City to help defend against the undead. Inside the house, survivors include Harry Cooper, his wife Helen, and their sick daughter Sarah, along with teen lovers Tom and Judy.
Let me guess, you like Harry.
Why? Why do you think I like Harry?
Anyway.
He keeps it real. That's my thing. I like people who keep it real.
Moving on.
In the 90s version, the Coopers are more clearly portrayed as selfish and morally flawed, with arguments and physical confrontations playing up to human cruelty. Harry and Ben's tension is heightened compared to the original, making the human conflict as dangerous as the zombies. Barbara also becomes more proactive, suggesting escape plans rather than remaining passive. As night falls, the house becomes surrounded by zombies. Attempts to refuel Ben's truck fail, leading to a gas pump explosion that kills Tom and Judy. A moment that's much bloodier and chaotic than the 1968 original. And meanwhile, Sarah succumbs to her bite, reanimates and kills her mother Helen, setting off a deadly confrontation with the other survivors. Ben and Barbara fight back, but Ben dies in a tragic irony over a gas pump key. This is a much more detailed emphasis in the 1990s for more dark irony. Barbara eventually escapes, encountering townspeople and media while zombies and human aggressors alike are cleared or burned. She confronts the surviving Harry and kills him in retribution, ending the film on a stark, morally complex note. In the 1990 remake, it really emphasizes Barbara's survival instinct, the brutality of human survivors, the practical zombie effects throughout contrast, from the 68 versions, more minimalist to touch. And but hey, what do you expect from Savini?
Yeah, pretty much. And first off, let me confess that this movie traumatized me before I even saw it. This is one of those video store movies for me. As a kid roaming the video store aisles, Night of the Living Dead, the cover art specifically with the zombie clutching a baby doll. She's played by Stacey Foster. She's a brief moment in the film. Scared me senseless, the picture that they put on the fucking cover of her. And I don't know if it was on the cover at this point, honestly, or the back cover, but she was on it. And that paired with the Child's Play 2 poster basically guaranteed my fandom was born out of pure fucking childhood terror. Therapy? Nah, I just leaned into it. But revisiting it now, my opinion hasn't changed much. It's still one of the most faithful, respectful remakes out there. It doesn't wander too far from Romero's original roadmap, but it does just enough updating in terms of character depth and society, social commentary, as you said, to feel fresh. Take the opening scene, Barbara and Johnny driving to the cemetery. This is done before in 68, but the landscape is barren. Just trees, no houses, no sign of civilization. Right away, this film tells you you're isolated, you're screwed. And the kills, brutal and memorable. The acting, Patricia Tallman brings a badass energy to Barbara that's undeniable. Tony Todd is as magnetic as always. And Tom Towles is Harry. Whew. Harry manages to be an even bigger jerk than in the original. And here's the kicker. As Savini himself admitted, Harry was actually right. If they'd just hidden in the basement, they'd probably still be alive. So yeah, he's a dick, and John likes him. But he's a correct dick, arguably the worst kind. That's hard truths. And speaking of Savini, his direction is stellar. I mean, seriously, you can tell and feel his passion for the genre in every shot. The big changes from the original are Barbara's transformation into a fighter, finally, and Harry's ending, which is satisfying in the end. He had it coming sense, He's a dick. The zombies, absolutely top tier. Savini, alongside with legends Everett Burrell and John Volek, created some of the most terrifying undead designs ever put to screen. They're grotesque, they're hungry, they're relentless. This is fresh. This is flesh-crawling horror at its finest. And
it was fresh horror, too, at the time. So
fair, and the human characters are meat with pure grit. Bottom line, I adore the original, but this remake stands out. It shouts louder, and they complement each other beautifully. Honestly, I don't have a single complaint. I really don't. This is one of those movies that I can't be like, oh, I don't like this character, I don't like the pacing, or I don't like. No, it checks every box. I call it an underrated gem. Most people do. One of the best remakes in horror history, as I've said. 9 out of 10. It's criminally unsung classic that proves something. So that sometimes zombies really do better with age.
Fair. Yeah. The 1968 Night of the Living Dead's a classic. There's no taking that away. It didn't invent the zombie genre, but it sure as hell kicked it off.
Yeah.
It's a movie even normies know about. It's just pure pop culture. That said, the 1990 remake is the superior version in every way. Barbara's a total badass here. In the original, she was so helpless, it was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
This is exactly how a remake should be done. Keep the iconic beats, fix the weak spots, don't reinvent the wheel. Unlike the 2015 Black Christmas, which tried too hard to rewrite the story, or the 2006 version that padded the backstory unnecessarily. This film sticks to the essentials and improves them. My theme, like I've said, for this year, for October, has been the OGs and the remakes.
Yeah.
Few remakes can ever come close to the original or surpass it. Think Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Fly, The Thing. The bad ones, a dime a dozen. Carrie, Halloween, The Fog, Psycho, Black Christmas again.
Right.
I know I'm mentioning Black Christmas a lot
Both
here.
of them.
This one isn't in the latter list. I could go on about why every beat works better, but honestly, check it out for yourself. Solid 8.8 out of 10. Now, if you excuse me, this one's on my list today. So, lock the doors, bolt your windows, and turn off the lights. It's time to light up and dive into the undead chaos. Welcome to Burn and Learn.
Oh.
Burn and learn.
Welcome to Burn and Learn, the part of our show where we spark up and dig into the hidden gems, secret facts, and juicy trivia about the movie we're reviewing. Basically, all the stuff that'll make you say, whoa, I didn't know that. And the funny thing about this that I was just speaking with John about is that all of these facts are legit facts. They are from the crew members' mouths themselves, Savini, Patricia, everyone else involved in the movie. These are all real facts, and I didn't have to go online or IMDb for any of this stuff. I'm a nerd, and it's one of the reasons my wife loves me. She's probably the only person that would think that, but I actually, whenever I watch a movie or learn something about a movie, watching bonus features, YouTube, podcasts, whatever, I keep journals, and I write everything I know about these movies in these journals, so that I'm kind of like my own Wikipedia in a sense, so I don't have to go to Wikipedia. And when this movie came about, I just loved this movie so much. I had so many pages on it. I was like, dude, I just have fucking facts out the ass. We don't even need to search the internet. These are right from the people's mouths. So I don't know if these are on the internet. I'm sure most of them are, but we didn't even need to reach out there. I'll start first. The opening scene in the car, the conversation between Johnny and Barbara, was done in one take, with filming taking place in the back of the car.
The Mercedes Barbara crashes in the film was actually Tom Savini's own car, repainted white for the scene. After seeing the footage, Mercedes was so impressed with how the car's safety was showcased that they rewarded him with a brand new one.
That is fucking crazy, right? When Barbara stops in the barn, someone puts shoes on her feet behind the trash can.
The deer head in the film is a nod to George Romero.
A lot of the exit wounds were cut by the MPAA, as you mentioned earlier, John, the ratings board. They originally gave the film an X rating, and Tom Savini always pushed boundaries with realistic kills and visceral contact.
Yeah, I don't think ever since that documentary this film is not yet rated. Anybody that's seen that probably does not like the MPAA.
Oh, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Real quick side thing about the MPAA. Have you ever seen... It might have been in that. I'm not sure if it was. But the guys from South Park, Matt and Trey,
Yeah.
where they talk about Team America,
Yeah.
because they knew they were going to have to get stuff cut, they literally put
Yes.
stuff in the movie
They put too much stuff, correct.
so that way they could just cut it and say, see, we cut that.
Yep.
I was like, that's why they're geniuses.
That does work. Smart.
The helicopter at the end of the film is not the same helicopter as Dawn of the Dead, nor is it a nod to Dawn of the Dead. Sometimes a helicopter is just a helicopter.
Yeah, everybody always tries to tie things in. Like not everything's an Easter egg. The badass autopsy zombie, which was one of the coolest scenes in the film, that actually wasn't in the script.
Tony Todd memorized the script in 5 minutes.
That doesn't sound surprising, right?
Yeah.
That's him. He's fucking pure professional. The house used in the film was a real house in Washington, Pennsylvania that actually had no electronic or running water.
And Savini said the zombies are scary in this movie because he wanted to remind people what death really was and wanted them to look soulless, devoid of light in their eyes.
And that they do. So
if anybody could do it, it'd be him.
That's it. Well, that's all we got here for Burn and Learn. So she survived the cemetery, the zombie hordes, the prosthetics, and all those intense takes. Now it's our turn to pick her brain. Let's dive into our interview with Patricia Tallman.
Joining us today is Patricia Tallman, an actress, stuntwoman, and studio executive whose career spanned film, television, and stage. Horror fans know her from her work with George A. Romero and her roles in genre favorites like Tales from the Dark Side and Army of Darkness. And today we're especially excited to have her here as we celebrate the 35th anniversary of Night of the Living Dead. So thank you for being high on horror.
Oh, you're welcome. About 35 years, huh? It still gets me. Okay. Yeah, welcome. And thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I was just stunned by that 35.
Okay, sorry about the delay. Wanted to start with saying that we love Night of the Living Dead. You know, it's one of our favorite zombie movies. And a few years ago, this is actually going to be our Halloween episode that we post this interview on. So, I wanted to bring up how a few years ago you hosted a watch-along of Night of the Living Dead for Halloween. Do you have any usual Halloween traditions that you carry out every year?
Yeah, that was fun. Billy Butler?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have any traditions that you carry out every year?
Oh, traditions that I carry out every year for Halloween. I'm on the road. I don't know. I live on the road, so I'm often out of the country on Halloween. We are going to be in Los Angeles for Halloween this year, actually, and it's so I love Halloween. We were in Greece, in Athens, one Halloween, and it was remarkable. They really go all out. There's a place called Little Kooks, and it's Little Kooks. It's like a couple of shops and restaurant in an alley that is really Halloween, like crazy Halloween. There's lights, they really do it up, and it gets jammed with thousands of people.
Sounds awesome.
Every Halloween, and it kind of continues all the way through Christmas. They kind of switch out the decorations into Christmas, but it's a super. It's a really wonderful place to visit for Halloween. In Los Angeles, there's always amazing things to drive around and go see. So I look forward to seeing because there's all the Hollywood people, and so they put up props, and they make things that move. They show movies in their yards, and it's really, really fun to see the industry turn out for Halloween.
That's awesome. What's your favorite candy for Halloween?
I used to love candy corn. I've kind of grown out of candy corn. Oh, God, you know what? I'm a sucker for peanut M&Ms. It's the worst. I can't resist peanut M&Ms. Yeah. It's kind of the start of our really bad eating, isn't it? For the rest of the year, we're just eating crap. So
yeah, I love Reese's. That's my go-to.
Same.
Okay, all right.
And Quest retreats. That's a really unique idea, blending travel, fandom, and personal growth. What inspired you to start it?
I guess the actual genesis was I had taken a retreat to Bali to write a book, which is kind of cliche now. And I wasn't really enjoying Bali. I'm a tropical beach person. I love that kind of thing. And Bali, because of Eat, Pray, Love, the Elizabeth Gilbert book, had gotten overrun with tourists because the book was so popular, and the Indonesian government, they weren't really prepared for that kind of infrastructure, the waste, the trash, the everything that tourists bring. And so it was just Bali was filthy. And this was a while ago, so hopefully they've cleaned it up, but or found a way to deal with it. But I'm a scuba diver, and I'm in the water, and I'm seeing trash bags flow along on the floor. It was really sad. So I thought, and then the guy that was running the retreat just turned out to be kind of a dick, you know. And we're there for a whole month, 30 days, to write these books. And the people that were there got books done, and I got a first draft done, but it was grueling. So I just thought. And I was at a real turning point in my life. I had a nervous breakdown. I had lost my shit for a while. I was just, what the hell is going on? What am I going to do? And while I was crawling around in the pit of despair, one of the things I had a sponsor, somebody who was really holding my hand through the whole process, and said, "Look, what are you looking forward to? What would you love?" And no matter how absurd it sounds, like if you wanted to meet Tom Hanks or something, you know, what would be your fantasy? And really, my fantasy was to be able to travel safely, comfortably, wherever I wanted to go, whenever I wanted to go. And I had absolutely no money, and there was no way I could do that in my mind, you know. So that I made the effort to get to this place in Bali. It was such a disappointment. And I just thought, you know what, I could do this so much better. I love taking care of people. I'm detail oriented. I'm really good at putting on events. I've been to a million conventions. I know how people want to be treated. So that started it. That was really starting me thinking about it. And then I eventually found a woman who ran a training program for people who wanted to run travel retreats, because I found how transformational in my spirit being able to travel with a group of people that you have something in common with, and you're out of your routine, you're out of your country, you're really in a new space, which is that kind of interesting space between comfort zone and adventure, right? So you're off the couch, you're out of your house, you're out of your routine, you're in a place that's really cool, and you don't know what's happening next. You know? So I just started having fun putting those kinds of adventures together for people. Anything that got me excited. It wasn't about, oh, everybody wants to go to Iceland. Well, I don't want to go to Iceland. I don't care about the Aurora Borealis. You know, that's just not my jam. But I want to go to Africa. You know, I wanted to follow the Lord of the Rings all the way through New Zealand. I got excited about going to the first Harry Potter play when it opened in London in the West End with the original cast. That got me excited. So those were the things I felt like I could spend a year planning and doing. You have to really be in love with what you're doing to stick it out through the hard times, through the stressful times, like what you guys are doing with your podcast. People got to know that's not easy, but you're doing it because you love it. You're doing it because it's feeding a part of your creative self with that interest you have in the horror genre. And then, you know, figuring the problems out and getting it done, finding a way to attract your audience, that all comes because you love with what you're doing and you're willing to go through it. So I had to find something that I really loved. I'm still traveling. I've had some I'm having both hip replaced. I have one hip replaced. I've got to do another one. So I haven't been able to lead a retreat because I have a hard time walking. But once this other hip's fixed, then I've got a lot of ideas, and I'm going to see what's next? Where are we going next? What am I doing next? And that's a long answer to your question, Drew. Sorry about that.
And I kind of get that because just last year, my wife took my son to go on a trip with her mom's family. And I was like, well, I got nothing to do. And I was like, maybe I'll take a trip. I had no interest in going to Georgia, but I love Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. So I'm like, oh, they filmed it down there. I'll just drive down there and just go from location to location and check it out. So I kind of I get that. It's not necessarily I want to go there. I just want to go see oh, they filmed this here.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right, John. So and I ended up in all kinds of crazy places, either through conventions or through wherever my husband and I are traveling. And we've been all over the world now. And what we do is find something about wherever we are that's drawing our attention. And it's exactly that, exactly what you did. And I highly recommend that. So for your listeners, you just said, you may end up having to be somewhere you're not totally thrilled about going. I have another friend who's in my magical living community. I have a community online, and I call it magical living because it feels like when you're doing this personal development work, it feels magical, like the universe meets you on the road and things just amazing things happen. So anyway, my friend in the group travels a lot for his business, and he ends up in towns and cities he doesn't give a shit about being there. But he's a poet, and he looks for open mic nights when he's in town, in those towns. And so he ends up meeting all these amazing people in different cities all over the United States that he never would have met. But It's so interesting, isn't it? You find your peeps.
And you've also been running the Be a Santa program for the Penny Lane kids since the 90s and helped raise hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That's right.
What inspired you to start the tradition, and what has it meant to you personally to see the impact it's had on the kids?
Oh, yeah, wow. We were doing, as a stunt person, there was a person in the stunt community who would get together. I'm trying to think, like in the fall, late fall, with the Penny Lane kids, introduced me to the whole Penny Lane organization. And we would do stunts for the kids, and then we had speakers for the kids, and we had a big holiday lunch kind of thing. And I just kept thinking, we should be raising money. We should be raising money for them. And we could raise money and gifts through our community, our Hollywood community, that would help the kids feel more connected to the world, because these kids were so physically, mentally, and spiritually and sexually abused that they couldn't be placed in regular foster care. So, and they're teenagers, so they're challenging. They're physically quite able, and they've been so hurt that they're reacting all over the place. Penny Lane's an amazing organization that creates, safe spaces for these kids. They have therapy. They have group therapy. They have personal therapy. They go to school, but they have to be contained, and until they prove that they can be out in the world, and they try to get them jobs, and start to teach them how to be in society and where they're going to be thriving, not just surviving. So I've seen what Penny Lane can do and how amazing it is. But I thought, well, let's connect them to the community and let them know that the world isn't such a horrible place. Although right now it does feel like that, doesn't it? But let them know people care. That there are people all over the world that understand what they're going through, that have been there themselves, that have siblings that they've been trying to take care of, or just like they have, etc. So I thought every kid deserves a holiday, And since we were doing this, I was first introduced to doing this day for the kids in the fall, I just wanted to bring in a holiday. It doesn't matter what you call it. Just the end of the year, you should feel like you should have some joy and magic in your life. So just through my community online, we've raised all this money and we've been able to provide a Christmas for these kids. And a Thanksgiving now, we've kind of branched into Thanksgiving. I started with like about 120 teenagers. We're at 5,000 now. So, it's a huge thing. But it's all grassroots. It's all because of fans like you and our communities and the come together and put together a few bucks. All the money, 100% of the money or whatever gifts you donate go 100% into the kids. Everybody's a volunteer. So, yeah, it's what we do. Thanks for asking. I appreciate that.
That's truly, truly amazing. That is truly amazing. You're a saint.
Oh, no, it's everybody, though. See, I'm just the one going, oh, we need help over here. And then the world jumps in. We get donations from everywhere. It's amazing. It really is amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's the fans. So that's the kind of, right? I mean, horror and sci-fi. It's amazing. People are so compassionate. Absolutely. And all of us, we come from, I can include myself because I'm a huge nerd. I just happen to be an actor, but I'm a huge nerd, grew up that way, got shoved into lockers. It was not cool. We were not cool. And now we run the world. But anyway.
We've all been there.
We've all been there, right? So we know what it's like to feel like you're kind of on the outskirts of cooldom and don't fit in. But these kids go to other levels of despair, and that's my job, is to kind of try to help them to feel seen, and no, you can make a change, and you might not end up, a billionaire, but you can end up happy. You can end up being okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And moving on to our film now, you said before that you had to be dragged into the original Night of the Living Dead, and it terrified you. Are there any other horror films that had that lasting impact on you like that?
Yeah, okay, I'll be really honest. Well, The Exorcist just totally traumatized me. I had to go sleep with my parents after seeing that movie.
Yeah, me too.
I couldn't deal with it. I very rarely go to see horror movies.
That's the scariest movie I've ever seen.
Oh, totally. Especially in that day and at my age at that time. I can't even remember how old I was. I was an adult, but I was still living at home. So I was probably 17, 18. So, I was too big to be sleeping with my parents. But no. I was just talking about this with my friend yesterday. I love the old black and whites. I love the old Universal monster movies. And in my day, so I was born in the 50s. I grew up in the 60s. In those days, you had to watch what was on TV. That was your choice, or go to the movie theater. And the movies in the movie theater did not come on TV. Not for decades. You didn't get anything new on TV ever. So you had to get up. I would sneak up in the middle of the night when the spooky movies were on in the seasons, and watch them quietly, but scaring the crap out of myself. I think the worst one was The Birds. Oh boy, was that a mistake. I watched the Hitchcock's The Birds by myself. Horrified. So I still love that because I remember those scares. I love ghost stories, supernatural stuff. And I loved the original The Haunting with Julie Harris, which became The Haunting of Hill House.
Yes.
But the original one is, I don't know if you've seen it. Oh my God. The black and whites, there's just something so, you fill in all the black, all the color. That's the thing. So you watch a black and white movie, you forget it's in black and white because your brain starts to fill in the reality of it. And not only that, but it fills in all the emotion and fills in all the horror and fills in. It's just your brain gets to work. And I
Yeah.
I remember not knowing that there wasn't the blood could have been chocolate in the birds. To me, it was bright red and quite visceral. So anyway, getting into then the current horror movies, I can't watch them. There's so much gore, even though I know how it was done, and I know that it's just too much for me.
They're just mean
That,
spirited.
yeah, and I liked, I watched Night of the Living Dead. Finally, I watched it again not too long ago, and I mean the color version, our version, and I thought, okay, our effects were tame compared to what they are now, but they're still completely believable, and that's what Tommy's whole focus was we're going to make these effects just exactly believable. This is what would happen if this body did this, and he did it. He sure did it. Oh God. Did I answer your question? Because like movies like Evil Dead, when Sam Raimi first was doing the camera moves and the crazy, that stuff is kind of fun and horrible, and that I could kind of watch. And then I ended up in Evil Dead 3, which I'm doing it. I'm on the set, but watching it, eesh, gosh, at least Evil Dead 3 was funny. That helps.
And as both an actress and a stunt performer, you've worn two very different hats on the same production, like in Jurassic Park as Laura Dern's stunt double. What was it like? I'm sorry, what was it like to switch mindsets between performing emotionally and then physically executing high stakes stunts?
It's a different kind of concentration. So when you're focused on an acting job, you have the words you're saying. My acting teacher, Charles Nelson Riley, would say, so you get the script and you see what the screenwriter or the playwright put on the page. They put the black on the page. Your job is the white. You fill in all the white. And there's way more white on the page than there is black. So you've got a big job. And that's all your own imagination and putting yourself into the boots of your character, which you have a whole process for doing that. So that's a very different kind of physical and mental process. Then as a stunt performer, you're focused on often a choreography, a timing, a lot of timing. And for me, it's all choreographed because that's how I think of it, being a dancer. And that helps with the timing because it's like music. So that's what you're focused on, if that makes sense. And then you add in, and for me, it was very easy. It's very natural for me to add in any acting that part requires. If you're playing what we call an ND stunt or a nondescript stunt, which means you could be either driving a car or you're a lady walking across the street and you have to dodge out of the way of the speeding car, or so you're filling in. You've got to make that believable. It's like a mini acting job inside your stunt job. But if I'm doubling Laura Dern on Jurassic Park, for example, I need to watch what my actress is doing before the stunt. I know exactly where she's coming from, how she moves her body, what her character is doing in the scene, the way she's doing it. So I really become a mimic as well as taking that in, so that then when I further her action, I'm in her character doing it as she would and matching that as best I can. I think I know my acting background really helped with that, obviously.
And that you brought up Army of Darkness. What was it like working with Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell, and how challenging was the prosthetics and stunt work on that?
Oh God. So Rob Tappert had the amazing job, and so did Sam, of taking a very small budget and making it look like a big fancy movie. First of all, they had high ambition for this movie. So we are all working in conditions that were minimal comfort. Okay, so we're it's like, for example, for the siege of the army on the castle, we shot that in the desert. They built the facade of the castle, and I was in the army, and we were out in the desert, sitting on our armor. For part of it, I was a Roman skeleton, and so I had a shield, and I had a helmet. So as stunt people, we were just kind of sitting out there. And then next to us were the puppets that Nicotero and his team were all running. And then you had horses behind us, and then just extras, just 100 extras, plus the crew. So we just had to sit in the desert and try not to pee, and because there wasn't a lot of where you could go, and just to stick with it and be good sports, because it was tough. Sam is an introvert, believe it or not, and very obviously super creative, very nice, really kind. But then you give him the microphone or a megaphone and say, okay, now he's going to talk to all of us, 100 of us Deadites, right? And try to get us all excited, and have us march on the castle. And he turned into a whole different person. It was really fun. He just went, all right, all you Deadites, and turned into Henry V before the battle. Just this really cool. His Rob Tappert was his producer, and really face forwards for Sam. At least that was my impression. And also a great guy that I guess they come from. Real quick segue. I was going to Carnegie Mellon University at the same time. Bruce and Sam are shooting the first Evil Dead in Detroit, outside Detroit. And Bruce married my sorority sister. So we're all I didn't meet Bruce. I don't think I met him then. And I certainly hadn't met Sam, but we're, kind of in that world. And then I'm doing Night of the Living Dead, and it's just kind of in that world. So when I finally did meet Bruce, which wasn't long after that for the first time, it was like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, you. Oh, I heard about you, kind of thing. Sam, I never met Sam or Rob until I auditioned for The Witch, and Greg Nicotero helped me get that job because I was a starving actor and I needed some work. So I called up all my friends and just said, got anything? And Nicotero, Howard, they said, actually we do. We need to build this army of skeletons, and we need a body, and you're skinny, so you want to come over? And I went, sure, I'll come over. And they put me in a leotard, and they made a cast of my body. It took most of a day in and out of this cast doing different parts. And they paid me a SAG daily, which was awesome, but it was in their budget, and that helped. That's SAG, meaning Screen Actors Guild. And then, who was it? I can't remember which of the guys said, hey, we need to make this witch. And if we make it on you, maybe we could get Rob to, maybe we get them to hire you to play the witch. So they were helping behind the scenes to get me the audition for the witch, which I had already done Night of the Living Dead. So I played the lead in a horror movie. You wouldn't think that it would be that hard to get a job as a screaming witch for a few days on another film, right? But it was. I had to go in and audition, and I had to, and then they built the witch on me And we put the witch in another movie. They say, hey, Patty's game for anything. Let's bring her in for this. So they put the witch, they used the witch face and makeup in a movie called The Nutty Nut. What did it end up being called? The Nut House? Something like that. They changed the name, but I can't remember what it was. And I'm an old lady in a nut house. That's just my part. I don't know what the whole movie was about, but I think it took place in a nut house, the worst way of saying, mental institution. I was in my wheelchair and I was such an old hag bitch that they rolled me down they shoved my wheelchair down the hall and down the stairs. So I had to go ass over teacups in a wheelchair down the stairs. It was really funny. And then while we were making that movie, because I was already in the makeup, we made a handheld movie about waiting for in between shots for the Nutty Nut, where we made another movie. I could just go on forever, but we had a lot of fun. That was hilarious. The makeup was horrible. It was miserable. It took about 4.5 hours for them to apply everything. And it not only was all face, wig, and all that, and it went down my chest. And then because of the old witch costume, could slide around, so they wanted to make sure it was all old hag stuff. And then my hands, and I had a bodysuit on that was the hump, and it snapped at the crotch, which meant once I had those hands on, I couldn't undo it, so I couldn't pee. So I couldn't pee for like 17 hours. I couldn't really eat, so I had a little sippy cup, and that was about all I could do. I didn't want it to mess up the makeup because it was a whole appliance around my face. So, it was miserable. And then we didn't get to shooting. And also it's hot. We're in Los Angeles, miserably hot. And I can't do anything. So trying to sit in some place where there was air conditioning, but I couldn't read. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have computers with us. None of that. So that was a long ass day. By the end of the day, they finally got around to shooting the last of my stuff, which meant they wired me up for about 17 squib hits because Bruce is going to shoot me every which way he shoots me. And then, the last gunshot wound that was supposed to take me out, Sam was like, you know what? I got nothing. I don't know what else to tell you, but do something spectacular. This is your death. This is the culmination of this witch. And I was just like, by this time, I'm just reeling and exhausted. They had been shoving these contact lenses into my face. Those dead-eye lenses are huge, and they're not made to fit our individual eyeballs. They're just generic. So it would take 2 or 3 of those guys to kind of hold me in place, somebody to pry my eye open with very carefully using tissue to keep the makeup from getting wrecked, to pop those contact lenses in. And then my eyes are just like shooting out tears, like flying like a cartoon. It's like, I'm going to get this out of my face. It was a day. So by the end of it, the death scene, Bruce puts his gun over his shoulder and shoots backwards. So I don't even, because I've got these contact lenses and I can't see. And as the squibs go off, I just react to wherever I felt the squib. The squib is for the listeners, the squib is the patch of explosive and blood bag that's glued to the stunt performer. And it has a wire attached to it that then the special effects guy triggers so that the explosive goes off and the blood goes off and whatever. And I had like 17 of these on me for that last shoot 'em up scene. Couldn't really go anywhere because I've got wires coming out of every piece of my wardrobe. So I had to just react. And that's all I could do is I reacted to wherever I felt the squib go off. And the last one, I didn't know what else to do. So I face planted. I just went, and then right? That was that was the last. Sam loved it. A couple weeks later, I got on my answering machine. Back in those days, answering machines were a cassette tape recorder, and they would answer your phone. And it was Sam and Bruce going, Patty, we're editing that last scene. You're our favorite monster ever. And I was like, oh my God, I wish I could have saved that, but somehow that got, yeah, I lost that cassette. But to imagine them calling on a cell phone that's like the size of a Kleenex box, back in those days, those big satellite phones they had. It was pretty fun. Okay, I digress. Did I answer your question?
Okay, well, in George Romero's original 1968 film, Barbara was portrayed as frightened and passive, but in the remake, you played her as strong, decisive, and even heroic. Do you see Barbara's transformation as a reflection of how women's roles in horror and in society have shifted over those decades, over 2 decades?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right, Drew, because Judy O'Day was amazing, Barbara, and she was perfect in her performance for the trope at the time, which was women screamed, cried, and got killed. In her case, most of the time in their underwear, but at least Judy got to keep her clothes on. That's good. But yeah, that was appropriate for those days, and the horror of these innocent women being murdered, and then men are supposed to be the heroes. And obviously, that had started to shift by the time we did Night of the Living Dead. And when I heard that George was remaking Night of the Living Dead, I didn't understand why. And Tom said, "Hey, I want you to play the part." I was like, I can't be that woman. No, that's just not me. And he said, No. Read the script. So I did read the script, and I was like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing, and that's way more exciting. So I was very interested at that point. But we still hadn't seen a lot of women be the heroes. The first Aliens had come out, so Sigourney Weaver had done that. Had Terminator 2 happened yet? I mean, the first Terminator, we see she's very active, and not victim-y at all. But T2 is when she really went badass, right?
I think that was 91.
Sorry?
I think that was 91, so I think it was a year after.
Yeah, right. So we just still hadn't seen a whole lot of women on their own becoming the hero. They were always assisted by a guy, saved, whatever, and that was like we were saying, that's kind of the trope of what it was until that time. But it was really cool to be able to be the surviving character. Yeah, and starting, I loved that she started off just like a normal person. Just this woman who hadn't had much of a life yet, and I love that for all of us, that we have to think about, well, how would I rise to the occasion? What would I do? Yeah.
Was there anything specific you wanted to portray from Judith O'Day's portrayal, or did you just kind of approach it more as creating your own Barbara from the start?
Yeah, I just did my own thing. I felt like it was different enough, and I needed to make my Barbara make sense. So she made her Barbara made sense, and I had to make my Barbara make sense.
Yeah, I get that, and Barbara in the remake not only survives, but she does so on her own terms. Do you think horror films have a unique ability to challenge traditional gender roles? And what responsibility, if any, do you think filmmakers have when reshaping iconic characters?
Well, I like it when it's done. If you're going to remake something, I love it when it's done creatively and respectfully. Like, if I might, one of my favorite horror movies, The Haunting, and then the Netflix series, The Haunting of Hill House. If you knew the original movie, I was constantly thrilled by how they really did honor the movie and the origins of the characters and the hauntings. So I thought it was so well done. It made it much more enjoyable for me. Yeah, and I do appreciate that. Obviously, George is remaking his own movie, so he had a hand in keeping things, making it respectful and hopefully, entertaining. So, what was the other part you said? Let me think. Let me see if I can read it. As have they were challenge? Yes. Okay, I would say because you're a horror podcast. Yes, horror is a great way to lift reality out of the mundane and then highlight it into this macabre fantasy. And so we can see things differently. I love what Tina Romero just did with Queens of the Dead, right? So fun, super fun, taking the zombie genre, but into a whole other thing. Let me just throw in for some of your listeners and may cross over into sci-fi. It's the same thing with science fiction. It's what Roddenberry's been trying to do since the 60s, is highlight things that we need to do better, whether it's take care of the planet or stop the racism or stop the misogyny or, embracing new roles for men and opening it up to the possibility that there's other genders. We have all these different creatures from all over the universe. Why can't there be different genders? So it makes it easier to start to open up to that concept. I think that we have a lot of responsibility in horror and sci-fi to do that.
And what was it like working with Tony Todd with such an intense and tragic storyline?
Yeah. Well, I think one way that Tony's great. Tony was amazing, and I miss him terribly. He's a serious actor and had a serious vibe, if you will. Kind of that's the way he carries himself. He's also huge. So this huge, he knows how imposing he is, and he gracefully embodied that. But he also, I think, had a great sense of humor and was willing to laugh easily and at himself, because we had to, I think because we were dealing with such darkness, we really needed to, and we're shooting nights for a month. We had to joke around to stay sane, if you will. And we did goof around. I did all kinds of things to Tony on the set to try to he just presented this enormous challenge, and I was thrilled by it. So I was always doing little things to try to make him laugh. I would stick signs on his back, and just like random, kiss me randomly on his back. So then the crew would just kind of come up and go, mwah, and he'd be like, what the hell's going on here? It was really fun. It was fun. And then he would laugh. So he was a really great guy. I've never heard a bad thing about Tony. Not once.
And obviously Tom Savini directed, and he's legendary for his effects. What was the collaboration like from your perspective as an actor?
The collaboration with Tom with the actors?
With the practical effects.
Oh, he was really a respectful. Tom's a very respectful person. So he obviously had a lot of input on what he wanted, but then he let the guys do it. So Optic Nerve, Everett, and Johnny, they just did their job, and he trusted them. He wasn't meddling. If they asked him a question, He was right there. And he gave his approval, and he would say, "Oh, I want a little more blood," or "I want this to go a little differently," and then let them do it. So I felt like he was kind of perfect. He's an actor's director, meaning he hired the cast he wanted, and then he trusted us. So he gave us the space. He let us make suggestions. He wanted us to creatively play in the scenes together, and so that we really would collaborate and come up with moments on ourselves. And I know he was wonderful. He was wonderful.
And there were stories that he had to fight the MPAA over the gore and violence in the film. Do you think any of those cuts changed the film in any way?
Well, the way Tom describes it, what he had in mind would certainly have changed things. So I'm not sure what we're going to see in the new version, the uncut version. I see it for the first time, I think, on the 24th or 25th of October. I'm going to be in Santa Ana, California, at a screening at the Frida Theater. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. But yeah, I mean, I think it would have changed it from what Thomas said. Yeah. Sorry, that's all I got.
No problem.
Romero, his 1968 version is often discussed as a film that spoke to its era, touching on issues like race, violence, and fear of the unknown. Do you feel that the 1990 remake carried its own social commentary? And if so, what themes still resonate today?
Well, I think just what you said, it still brought up that. Like, we seem to, as Americans, we seem to constantly be reminded of this, and we make two steps forward, one step back. We're really struggling with progress, and so it was timely. And of course, with women, I think he added that this time. He added that women are not helpless, and we shouldn't see them that way. We shouldn't see them as victims. We shouldn't victimize them. And we need to listen to each other, all of us.
And, the movie's only grown in appreciation over the years. Do you find younger fans are discovering that now, maybe even before the original film?
I think it's more accessible in a lot of ways with streaming services. So yes, I think you're right, Don. Younger people are seeing it first. It also did well enough, and it has a good word of mouth. So my friend who I was speaking to yesterday brought up the fact that a lot of young people do not want to watch a black and white movie. Strangely.
Yeah. I hear it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I even have some friends that are like, oh, I can't get into watching a black and white movie.
Right. Which I find strange, but I'm from the different era. So maybe the 1990 version makes it more accessible to people, which is cool. And it brings in more of the gory aspects, which our audiences today need. They're just used to it.
It's almost kind of expected at this point.
And that is right. That's right. I mean, The Haunting of Hill House in the Netflix series, it was not as gory as I was worried it might be. And the first movie has no gore in it whatsoever. It's just terrifying. It's a lot of psychological. It's a lot of auditory. You hear things. There's some camera work, and it's spooky as hell. But it's kind of like what you go through when you're scaring yourself in your own house. But the Netflix upgraded it, I felt like, in a way that held true to the original, in that you're so disturbed through the whole thing, through a whole series. You're on edge and disturbed, and that was so well done. Yeah.
And,
did I answer your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go off on my tangent and I forget what you asked. I'm really sorry about that.
And we want to thank you again for joining us. And just one last question. It's 35th anniversary is this month. What does that mean to you personally, Night of the Living Dead?
Night of the Living Dead changed my career. It led to me being on the sci-fi show Babylon 5 because the creator of Babylon 5 saw Night of the Living Dead. And he wrote the character that I ended up playing with me in mind, he said. So, and that shifted, that became a 5-year job. And in between, I did a lot of Star Trek. And so I don't know if there was any crossover from that, but maybe. Anyway, yeah, Night of the Living Dead. I've been so fortunate to be in a handful of, genre classics, which blew my mind. And that was never an original acting career goal. When I was a little girl, I used to play with my Barbies with my cousin, and we would act out Star Trek and the original series with our dolls, and we would also act out Dark Shadows. So I think that's really interesting that my career became really grounded in sci-fi and horror. Somehow in there somewhere that the universe listened to that intention of this little girl. So yeah, Night of the Living Dead did so much for me and introduced me to some new friends like Tony and Billy Butler, and cemented old friendships that I had already started with George and Tom. That was really sweet. Yeah. Thank you for asking.
Oh, you're welcome. And yes, thank you again for joining us today. And we really enjoy getting to talk to you about your career in the film.
It was my pleasure. And if your listeners have any other questions and we want to talk again, please let us know. We'd love to. And I don't mean we as in the royal we,
awesome.
Contact you.
Thank you again.
Yeah, if you want to talk to Butler, I can try to put you in touch if you don't know, if you haven't gotten in touch with him yet.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool, I would do so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, take care.
Thanks to all the horror hounds and stoners out there for tuning in. Have a great Halloween, and we want to thank Patricia Tallman for joining us here on Halloween. Talk about Night of the Living Dead from 1990, celebrated 35 years. And tune in next week. Even though Halloween's over, we're not done celebrating it. We're going to talk to Brandon Christensen about the Night of the Reaper. And make sure to follow us online, High on Horror 420, X, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I feel like there was one I forgot. Discord. Yeah, I was like, I know there's one last week.
I was waiting. I was hoping you'd get it.
Yeah, make sure to find us on Discord. You should be able to get a link in our link tree if you follow us Instagram. Pretty much any of our ones. If you get on there, you can get them all. That's what she said. Send us some more PPA questions. We're finally getting through that backstock. We had a bunch because we didn't really have an interview for a while, but we're finally getting caught up on those now. I mean, like Dale's. Well, we forgot it a couple times. So.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is that we get the questions and then we get ones that we're like, oh shit, this one, and then it becomes like more of not a priority, but you just focus on that one and you forget the other ones,
Stoners, geez Louise.
Yeah.
As I've heard somebody say before.
We're not just stoners, we're busy family, man. You know what I mean? We're busy, man. We never have time for shit.
Stoners, we're clients too. Anyway, it's getting ridiculous here. It's Halloween. I got shit to do.
It's late. We're stoned. We're about to be full on candy.
How about wrap her up? Catch you later.
Stay spooky, everybody. Happy Halloween.